Welcome to the Michigan Runner Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
In June 2009, the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame is presenting its Gerald R. Ford Award to Marty Allen. In the words of the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame, Marty Allen is a Grand Rapids legend. During his 31-year career with Old Kent Bank, later Fifth Third Bank, Mr. Allen was one of the driving forces behind the Riverbank Run, a tremendous Grand Rapids tradition attended by thousands each spring. A close friend and confidant of President Ford, Mr. Allen epitomizes the spirit of the Ford Award. In 2007, when the Fifth Third Riverbank Run celebrated its 30th anniversary, Michigan Runner caught up with Marty Allen and a couple of other guys who also helped found the Riverbank Run, Frank Cashman and Owens. Enjoy our interview with Marty Allen.
Welcome to our 30th anniversary party for the Fifth Third Riverbank Run. It's exciting to have so much energy in the room.
We're here at the celebration of the Fifth Third Riverbank Run's 30th anniversary. And guess who we found? We found the two guys who founded the race. On my left here is Frank Cashman. Next to him is the historian Al Owens, and on the other side is the co-founder Marty Allen. We're going to talk a little bit about the beginnings of this race. Frank, let's talk with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your thinking when the race started?
Well, I thought Grand Rapids was a good town that needed a race, and it turned out that I was right. But I think there's 5 different political entities involved, Wyoming and the area, suburban areas, and they all had city managers that said, yeah, hey, that's a good idea. And then the cream, what made it go was Old Kent Bank said, you know, would you consider sole sponsorship by Old Kent? And we said, well, let us take that under consideration for 20 seconds.
That's putting it too long.
And Marty would say that?
He was right, but I think it's more like 5 seconds. We had wanted to do something downtown that included people. Now, I wasn't creative enough to think of a run, but Frank was. And Frank came to my office. I literally think he was
crazy enough.
Talking about 48 hours. He came in with his notebook, and he got about half an hour into it, and kind of like that Leiden movie, you could stop. We could have stopped when you said hello. It was perfect for us. And I remember saying, Frank, don't go anyplace else. We're going to do it. I'm not even going up and talk to the boss. I'll talk to him later. So that's how it happened. We got lucky. We were looking for something. Frank had a race in his hand, and the team matched up to be a great partner.
Well, there's a lot of ingredients that go into making a great race like this one. And Al, you know a little bit about the Grand Rapids Track Club, right?
Absolutely. We were all members. Frank and I were members of the track club, and Frank thought of this thing. We had a sponsor, we had a race, and the next thing that put it together was volunteers, volunteers, volunteers. And you still see some of the same people out on the course. You'll see them Saturday, it's the same people that were there 30 years ago. And it was a great organizational thing. We had the YMCA was part of the group that helped get the key people to run the various officer type deals of the track club, registration, etc., course measurement, and it was a community effort, not just Frank, Marty, and myself, the track club, the Y. It was a community effort, and I think you'll find that in most races like the Crim or whatever. It's volunteers and it's people that make it go.
Well, there are a couple of things that have made this race stand out. One is the consistent sponsor. The name changed, but it's really the same one. And so let's talk about that a little bit. That 30 years and one sponsor may be the only one of its kind.
Well, there's just no question it's the bank, which has changed name, but it's still the bank, and it's the Riverbank Run. I'm amazed myself. I never knew it would get to this magnitude. But as I watch the committee, I'm just amazed that every year never plateaus. They just keep adding new things, and it just becomes a greater race. So with that in mind, the sponsor still feels it's very attractive, and I think they put more and more money into it over the years too.
And it shows, and it's shown over the years to really be quite effective. Another thing that has made the race stand out over the years is the distance. It's pretty close to unique. How did you come by the distance?
Well, when it started, everybody was just getting into marathons, and we figured, well, why do what everybody else does? Let's do something different. And we knew that by going out to Granville and coming back, we could have the river beside us all the way, and we figured, hey, this looks pretty good. That's going to appeal to runners. So that's the way it gets. And we figured it out, and that turned out to be 25 kilometers or about 15 and a half miles.
Well, it has been a really interesting part of the race, and Al, you had something to say about that.
Well, Frank forgot to say, that's where the bridge crossed the river. I mean, it was that simple. Bud Baxter went out on his bike and measured it, and along with Frank, and it worked out that that's where the bridge crossed the river, so it was obvious.
Well, you know, the funny thing about that is that I didn't know that until just a couple weeks ago. I thought it was the genius of the track club that said 25K is the perfect distance. I find out from the historian 2 weeks ago they go out and ride a bike and ride it out and back, and it's 25K, so that's the race. But it was, regardless, it was a perfect distance to have. But I always gave more credit than he deserves.
Well, you know, I think it is a perfect distance because a lot of people get to a half marathon, but this gets you over the hump, and that makes it pretty special, and that's one of the reasons it stands out. So
it's also flat. It's easy.
It's easy, did he say? Let me say it's not easy. People ask me every year, did you at least run 1 year? I said, there was no way. The first year they took me out in the car and drove the track, and I got tired driving in the car. And I said, how could I ever run it? It's not easy.
It's getting easier for me after running 16 of them. I'm in the press truck now, so I can get through that race pretty quick now.
Well, in fact, I think the fact that it's not easy gives people bragging rights and what keeps them coming back. Isn't that right, Frank?
I think so.
Have you run it?
Yeah, not for many years, but I concentrate on eating now.
But you ran the first one.
Yes, yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that first one. I think Bill Rogers coming kind of helped put the race on the map. Do you remember some of the other people who came that year?
Well, I don't remember too. Most of them were local. Greg was with the Greater Boston Track Club at that time, and coerced Bill to come in. Back in those days, I'm not sure I can talk about it, but we had a hard time. We had a hard time getting Bill because that's when the AAU was in charge, and they couldn't accept bribe money, or excuse me, appearance money. And I think we slipped Bill a couple bucks under the table. Not under the auspices of the AAU, and that's how we got Bill to come to the race. But other than that, it was mainly local people, local great runners that got the race going the first year. And as a matter of fact, Greg jumped in at the expo, so to speak, before the race. Bill Rogers' plane got delayed, and we had 1,000 people waiting in the auditorium of the Panlin Hotel. No Bill Rogers, no Bill Rogers. Frank found Greg Meyer, and Greg jumped up and had the crowd in the palm of his hand. He did a wonderful job. From then on, he was our ambassador. He's Mr. Riverbank.
He is. He's a great ambassador. He's never shy about having a few words to say, so he's perfect, right?
Absolutely.
I want to say congratulations to you, Frank, for a great idea, and to you, Marty, for having the same great idea at the same time.
Thank you.
2 years he didn't do it.
What a crew. Isn't this great? Let's give them one more round of applause.